Have you ever felt like building a business is just a constant uphill battle and everything feels hard? Like getting up in the morning feels hard, keeping a calendar and a schedule feels hard, getting your family to protect, and respect your business hours feels hard. And you feel like you're fighting a constant battle all day long. I think we've all been there. I mean, I've definitely had my moments where I felt that way, and I'm sure you can relate. So today we have something special for you. My business bestie is going to join the show today, and we're going to break down the techniques that she uses to overcome a lot of these obstacles and challenges. And the great news, right? The great news is that they're all super simple and actionable if you just do it, if you just implement, if you just, set some timers, on your phone, set some reminders, put some things in your calendar, and just try it out for a week and see how much your business changes and how much more energy and motivation you have to bring to the table. So let's do this.
Hello, my name is Sherell Slaise, and I am an entrepreneur and a work from mother to 3 children who are under the age of 11 years old. Their names are Carter, Parker, and Tondria. We affectionately call her Tess. And hopefully I'll be uninterrupted by them as I'm sitting here sharing with you my tips on how to stay productive while working from home. Now, I get into this conversation a lot because I seem to have mastered a strategy that works for me. And I have shared the strategy with a lot of other people that I lead, and it seems to be working for them as well. So I figured this would be a perfect topic to share with other small business entrepreneurs and network marketers that are looking to automate their system and grow a big team and build good and strong profitable income. All right. Still while working from home. So let's get into it, you all. Quick background on me. I came from a corporate background. I like to say I'm a corporate evacuee, and went into entrepreneurship at the age of 30. And I did that because I was looking for more freedom, more time, more independence. And in doing that, I had a really great career in real estate where I owned and operated that business for 9 years. And my father introduced me to the network marketing industry. And listen to this. While I was transitioning from corporate into, entrepreneurship and real estate and transitioning into network marketing, I did this all the while getting married and raising children. So when I got started in entrepreneurship, I had a 1-year-old and I was 8 months pregnant. And very quickly, my 3rd child came along, who is Tondria, Tess. And this all happened within 2.5, 3 years. Okay. So I had 3 babies under the age of 3 years old, running 2 businesses while working a full-time job. And people say, oh my God, Sherell, how did you do that? And I'm going to give you the tips on what I did. Number 1, this is what I did. Grab a pen and paper, because I'm going to give you some tips that I think you can live on, and you can really strategize your life, your day, your business, and really get some real good meat out of what I'm going to share with you. Okay. So number 1, the biggest tip that I can give you that I continuously do today is I get ready for the day. Okay. I get ready for the day. And the way that you get ready for the day is, guys, you have to generate your own energy. You see, you have a dynamic body that God gave you that allows you to generate your own energy. And when you're feeling down, when you're not where you want to be, when your mindset is not where it needs to be, or your body is feeling sluggish when you wake up in the morning, or you're just not your optimal self, you can become very optimal and get where you need to go and where you need to be just by generating your own energy. So how do I do that? Well, I love to, early in the morning, I always grab some sort of hot beverage in the morning. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I like to drink like hot water with lemon in it. And that really wakes up my mind and my sensory system. It gets me going. So that's the first thing. The other thing is you generate your own energy by exercising, by moving. And I do this first thing in the morning. And you've heard the model, if you win your morning, you will win your day. It's the same thing here. So if you exercise first thing in the morning, it is so very helpful, and your adrenaline just gets gets to pumping and your heart rate increases. And another thing you want to do in the morning is to honor your routine. So far, I would say so often, us as entrepreneurs and network marketers, we don't honor ourselves. And this really falls in the category of personal leadership. What are you doing to plan your morning and actually honor the time that you give to yourself? So you should have a routine that should form into a habit. Now, I know that if you're in the working world, or previous in the working world before social distancing and before working from home, you probably had a routine. And so that routine that you had, you honored it because you worked for someone else. Now, just because you're working from home now doesn't mean that everything goes up in the air. It doesn't mean that, I'm going to watch Netflix in the middle of the day or, watch Hulu or whatever it is, right? You don't usually do that, right? You usually work during the day. So don't do this now that you're home and you're away from your office. If you usually watch Netflix at night, stay watching Netflix at night. Make certain that during the day, you honor your routine that was previously scheduled by you. Okay. And if you don't have a routine, you need to establish a routine. And then when you establish that routine, again, remember I said honor it, but also get up. This is funny. What I'm about to say is really funny. Get up and take a shower as a part of that routine. Guys, yeah, because when you get up, you wash your body, you brush your teeth, you throw some water in your face, you get dressed. It honestly does help, and it honestly does wake you up. I do this routinely, you all. I do it routinely, and it might sound very minor, but how you start your day really does make a difference. Eating breakfast first thing in the morning as well to generate that energy. Okay, so that's my first tip for you, is to get ready for the day by generating energy and knowing that you create that energy. We all have the opportunity to create our own energy. So number 2 is to set boundaries for yourself and to set expectations for yourself. If you have a family like mine, I'm a family of 5. Like I said, I have 3 children and mostly responsible for the kids' school day and their daily activities. You need to communicate your work needs to your family. If you're at home and you've got other constituents, like I just said, the people that may need you, maybe it's not 3 children and a husband, maybe it's, you're caring for parents or whatever it is, right? Anyone in the house that needs you, that might need food, they need help with your homework or whatever it is, you need to set boundaries with them and communicate to them what your actual work needs are. You guys, this is so key, and we don't do it often. We don't. We just say, hey, I have this job, or I have this side business. That I'm building a new business. So you're thinking everybody's going to leave you alone. But if you're planning, which is foundational of this talk I'm talking to you about right now, getting prepared and getting ready and having a routine in place and communicating those work needs to your family and say, hey, listen, guys, husband, wife, children, I have to work today, or I need to put in some hours. I need to put in 2 hours. I need to put in 3 hours. Before I sat down with you just now, I had my daughter in here who was doing my hair, making certain I look pretty for you guys today. I was like, hey, listen, I'm doing a video. Go tell the boys, your brothers, that this is what I'm doing, right? Communicate that to everybody. That way, everybody's on the same page as you. Because if you disappear and you just start working, everybody's going to be pulling at you all day long, guaranteed. And it's always going to be at the time when you're not ready for them. They're going to be interrupting you, right? So communicate your work needs to the people around you. Those people will respect you and they will appreciate you for doing that. You all, I've been married for 14 years with 3 children. Trust and believe there was not always a time that I was generating the income that my husband expected me to bring in, or my kids were hoping we'd get so that we can go on that Disney World trip. But when I communicated to them what my goals were and where I was going, the expectations, and established those boundaries, I was able to onboard them to my mission and to my scheduled work hours that I had set up for myself. Okay. So this is all still about setting boundaries and setting expectations. And as you're thinking about those values or those boundaries, we'll call it, we are usually strongest if we've got like specific deadlines, specific work to do when we're setting up those boundaries. So again, honoring your time is important and figuring out what that time is going to be during the day. So where are you strongest? You know, you've got something important that you need to get done. When are you strongest during the day? Like for me, I'm strongest in the morning. I'm brightest in the morning. So most of the things that are important to me, I try and get done in the morning. If you're more of like a 2 o'clock person, middle of the day person, then that's when you're going to schedule your most important project. You do it in the middle of the day. So guys, for me, this is like TikTok for me. It becomes a habit when you set it up and you start doing it over and over again. So another boundary trick is to set up space in your home that is completely separate from everyone else. And I think we all have that luxury to do this. Let me give you some ideas, okay? Your dining room table, right? I'm actually in my dining room right now. So this is my dedicated workspace just for right now, but this is where I have been lately been doing a lot of work and doing my filming in this room because it's got 2 closed doors and no one really comes in here. But you can find a corner in your room, right? Just a separate room altogether. It might be your kitchen table. That might be it. It might be the corner, depending on the size of your home, it might just be the corner of the sofa, right? But you have to put like a boundary in, right there. And you just say, hey guys, all of you that are in the house with me, I've got work to do. I'm going to be sitting at this kitchen table. And while I'm at this kitchen table, I'm going to be working. Okay, so don't bother me. This is where I'm going to be for the next 2 or 3 hours. That's setting your boundaries and finding that space that you can set up that's distinctively yours. It's no one else's. And this dedicated space will help you tremendously because you can keep work there. You put work there and you keep work there and walk away so that you can have that break that you are going to need. I also establish like the one thing, like the one goal, the one focus area that should, push the needle along in my business. And I identify that the night before. I double check in the morning if that's the same thing that I want to do. Because by the way, I don't like to be scheduled, although I have a pretty clear idea what I'm going to be doing throughout the whole week because I time block my calendar. But the night before, I suggest to myself what my focus is going to be the next day. And then that next day, because I'm such a fly by night, like to be flexible, never want anybody to tell me what to do, including myself sometimes. I relook at what my focus is going to be for that day and I make an agreement as to whether I'm going to do it or not, or I'll shift it to another day, right? So having that flexibility in there is also key. But at the very beginning of the day, you do that so that you know what you're working towards. So sometimes we identify too many goals in a day and we don't feel accomplished at the end of that day. Right. So this reminds me of Gary Keller. You guys know him, Gary Keller. He teaches in his great book, The One Thing. He says, what's the one thing that if I complete this thing today, nothing else matters? I kind of follow that same kind of concept. Okay, number three, I kind of mentioned it already. It's about taking breaks. You've got to do this because you will burn out if you don't take breaks. So schedule those breaks into your day. And, I'm a multitasking parent because I have 3 kids who right now are working from home. And, I've got 3 businesses that I still run. Gosh, I didn't mention that. I have an online business. I've got a network marketing business and I have a real estate business. All 3 of those businesses are still running. So how am I doing all of this? Guys, I do take breaks during my day. I keep a planner. I actually went from an electronic planner to using a paper planner just recently. I use my electronic planner specifically for the notifications for meetings so I can get buzzed when it's time to go and do the next thing. But the paper planner, I just brought back into my life like a year ago because I feel like with a paper planner, I'm able to see where I'm going and where I've been. When I was using an electronic planner, which I used for 20 years of my business career, I would take notes online or on my phone, and I would file it away nicely. But once I file it away on my phone or my electronic device, it was like gone forever, and I never looked at it again. That's what I realized was happening, and I felt like things were missing. And I'm like, I know I've captured that, but conceptually for me, I just needed to be able to see it on paper. It took me up until last year where I was like, God, things just seem so scattered. I ended up purchasing a planner again. So I actually have it in front of me. I just got my paper planner back in my life again last year, and it's working for me, and I love it. So Anyway, my point is schedule breaks throughout the day, okay? Make certain that you have white space in your calendar, because just as much as those color blocks, which I'm sure you've learned about before from maybe another speaker, color blocking your calendar, the white spaces are also just as important, where you have the flexibility to take those breaks. Okay, mini breaks, tea breaks, power nap, walk outside, whatever you decide, just make sure you take breaks. All right. Number 4, when it comes to working from home, I want you all to know it is not business as usual, and it is not life as usual. I normally would say, when I talk about working from home, people that know that I do it well, I normally say, hey guys, it's business as usual, but it's not. It's not. Sometimes, okay, and maybe try and convince yourself that nothing has changed. Okay. It's not business as usual. Things are different. That's what I want to say. Things are definitely different. There is another layer of stress in our lives due to what's happening in the world right now, right? So it is March 2021. There is still a pandemic. We are still fighting racial unjust. I'm aware of that. We just came out of an election year. Children are still at home, transitioning, hybrid, working from home, not working from home. I mean, there's just stuff going on, and that's still there. And the other thing is, you now have new home responsibilities that complement the circumstances that are going on right now. So some of those home responsibilities are kind of very basic, like cleaning more than you ever had before, simply because people are home more, or making certain that when everyone comes in, their hands are washed, and all that stuff. It's just these little extra things that we've got to think about that we weren't thinking about before. And guys, these things interrupt your business day. It really does. And it's just something new that's being incorporated in all of our lives that are impacting some more than others. And we have to allow space and time for this as well. So as a home business entrepreneur, which all of you are, your business is also impacted. Okay, so no, it is not business as usual, which is why this topic, I think, fits so nicely with the summit that Adrienne is sponsoring right now. Okay, so number 5, that brings me to number 5, as a home business entrepreneur, as you're making that transition home, as you're home already and just transitioning in this new way of building a successful, business that's, has systems and automation in it. I also don't want you to be hard on yourself as you're setting yourself up for this success. The idea is progress, right? The idea is moving forward. So I decided to talk about this topic today because, we're not innately equipped to be able to take on all of what I just described all at one time with everything that's going on, right? In the drop of a dime last year in 2020, the world changed, it shifted, it evolved. And now we have to figure out how to live and operate in this new world and grow a business in it, right? And personally, I've chosen to do it online, and create processes and systems, not just in my business, but also just in my own personal routine as a entrepreneur who has responsibility and personal leadership. The systems and the routines also have to be ingrained inside of me as well. Because your systems on your computer and the automations for your business and the technology, all of that is great. But if you're not in order, it doesn't matter. Okay, so it's time to evolve. So I hope you still have deadlines. I hope you still have goals. I know it's just March, and particularly now with with everything that I just mentioned that is going on. Some people are out there that are they're nailing it and they're grinding it out because there's just so much opportunity right now with all of our respective businesses. But there may be some others who aren't grinding it out, and I want to speak to those people as well. I still don't want you to beat yourself up. It's just March, okay? Forgive yourself on what you didn't do earlier this year. The opportunity is now, right? And it starts with you. Just getting those systems in place, but it starts with you. Okay. So I have got a special gift for you all today that'll kind of sum up everything that I just said, but it'll take what I just said to one step further. And it's called My Home Business Survival Guide. How to increase your productivity while working from home. And you all, I'm giving it to you for free, okay, for free. And I hope you do enjoy it. So go grab it. There should be a link to the side of this video where you can go grab it. And if you grab it and you have questions about that free resource, or it brings up some other ideas for you, I'd love to hear from you and figure out what are you doing in your business that is working for you. I'd love to hear that. Okay. Or you may see a tool that I mentioned that I use, and you might have some questions on how I implement that tool. I'll be very happy to share that with you as well. All right.
You've been listening to the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show with Adrienne Hill, where we support coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers to translate their big picture vision into actionable plans to build out their business efficiently. If you love our show, we invite you to visit buildalifebydesign.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover more helpful resources. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share. Thank you for listening.